Check, check, check. Vader Games in the building. You know what it is. Another episode. First things first, my peoples come first. My people, those that are here, those that are no longer here, thought of and always remembered. I'm your humble host, Vader Games. This is Vader Games TV. It's been a minute. Hopefully the levels are all nice and clear. Please let me know in the comments if everything is nice and clean. Pardon and apologies, 2025. Apologies for my delay. Apologies for having to push the time out a little bit. Life, work life, family life, delayed a few things. So this is going to actually be a lot more concise of a show, but we got a lot to discuss. And actually, I'm going to have to pace this out. Because a lot has been going down. Please let me know in the comments, is everything nice and clean? Good looking out to everybody in the chat right now. And what I'd like to do, I'd like to remind you, please hit that like button. Gotta hit that like button. Be a part of the show. Be in the comments. Also, do this. Be in the comments with regards to anything new that's happening, anything that may be hitting the wire. Because I don't got Twitter X open. I don't got the WhatsApp open. I'm not trying to stay in the flow with all the conversations. So if anything is pressing, anything's new coming through, let me know. But this is a unique show. You can kind of see, listen, 2025, the Platinums are fighting. They're breaking through. It's to let you know about the wisdom. It's to let you know about the Vader Games experience. You know what I mean? But what I like to do every show, I like to shout out the person that showed love. The person that was like, you know what? Listen, I like this show. I like your content. I like what you're doing. I'm going to be in the mix. The very first person in the building for this show with regards to the comment is my girl DC. My girl DC is in the building 2025. You know what it is? She goes, big up Vader and everyone in the chat. Viking King has extended for 115 months. Our board are geniuses. 115 months. That's not by accident. 115, right? 150 months, 115, and one question, 15 minutes. Look how it comes full circle. Look how it's all blended together. Listen, this ain't by accident. We doing this like some pros out here. I had to break out the scarf. It's actually a little chilly where I am in the studio right now, so I had to break out the scarf. But listen, we got so much news. And before I get to all the comments, I want to thank each and every one of you. Hit that like button. Be a part of the show. DC also goes, please, everyone, smash the like button. I was just saying that. She says, reminds everybody, smash that like button and show Vader some love, please. Please. He's the most cerebral City fan around. Woo! High praise. Oh, that made me cough. I'm blushing. Thank you, DC. It is going to be an interesting conversation, and I'm trying to bring things a little back. Yes, we can consume transfer news, we can consume contract extensions, and we'll get into all of that. But I also want to do a little bit of a reset. I want to take us back. I want to take us all the way back, and then let me get to the comments, and then I'll tell you what this 115 episode's all about. AA in the building goes, Vader Games TV, respect my guy. Bang. Freaking Ravens fan, American football. Yeah, we crashed out pretty early. Vader Games TV, City are making some serious moves for the future. They're cooking for real. Listen, we're future proofing. And again, we're going to talk about this on CIA. CIA is going to be later today. I think 8. I think just before 8 p.m. UK time. But we're going to address a few things, especially with regards to future-proofing, the transfer window, getting some young talent. So yeah, stay tuned for that. DC, I'm excited for the future and our rebuild. Just trust the board and Pep. They know what they're doing. They have form. They've experience. They deserve the trust that we should be giving them. They deserve the patience that they should be getting. Listen, Fox in the building. Big up, Vader. Good looking out. Danny in the building as well. He goes, yo, big up, Vader. Thank you. You know what it is. Listen. There's going to be a reset. I'm going to start the clock so I make sure everything's nice and clean. This is going to be a concise show because, again, I think I'm going to do some features today. I think I'm also going to be in the mix with regards to other city content shows. If you are on, obviously you're on YouTube right now, go also show some love over at Pitch Points, True City Fan. He's live right now. Hit those guys up. Let them know Vader Games says what up. But we're going to get into this. I'll let you guys go, send a like, send the comments, and then before I start this, because this is a reset. This is a reset. I gotta share this platinum wisdom to you guys and girls. That we need to have a proper combo. Um, and the conversation's got to revolve around competition. It's got to revolve around what sports all about and what this should be like. What should be enjoyed? What should be liked? What should be the approach of us as fans? All right. Fox. Let me see what Fox has to say. He says some folks need to apologize to Tiki. Ooh, yes. The criticism of Tiki, the apologies need to be even louder. You know why they need to be even louder? Is because of look at what Tiki's delivered for us. Look at what Soriano's delivered for us. Look at what the board's done, right? The criticism that Tiki's gotten, the apologies, the thank you, the great job, the pat on the back need to be louder. Need to be louder. Listen, he's doing it. He's doing it big. He's doing it real big. Now, all this conversation I want to have, because we can get into the players, we can get into the transfer. We're going to do that at another time. But I want to reset. I want the fan base. I'm not speaking to Manchester City fans. Whether rival fans want to hear this and apply it to themselves, they can't. But let me talk to the City fans. This air of, I'm going to say, arrogance. I'm hearing a lot of arrogance being thrown at the club, at the board, coaches and staff members. I'm hearing, but again, there's a lot of arrogance falling onto us as fans. The way we're speaking about what this sport's all about, what competition's all about. All right. This is football. We fell in love with it. Whatever your entry point was, whatever was the spark, whether it was you playing on the playground. And this is what I want. This is why I want to show this. I wanted to show this, and I'm going to introduce this, and then I'm going to get the clock going, right? Because I'm going to stay on point. I will not waste your time. But I want to introduce this with regards to a reminder to the fans. Because fans forgot what it means to compete. Fans forgot what sport's all about. Fans forgot that you're not just on that pitch against yourselves. Fans forgot that there's an opposing team, manager, board, club with the same motivation as yours to win. Now, let's all kind of reset. Let me actually get the clock going. I'm going to keep this nice and clean as well so that I can manage it with some timestamps. Vader game. But we start the clock. 115, one question, 50 minutes. Why fans forgot what it means to compete? Let's go back. Let's go back in the day, right? Back in the day when it's like, recess or after school or whatever it happens to be. And you have to pick teams. I don't even know if kids do this today. I don't even know if you pick teams like this anymore. This used to be fundamental. This used to be from the jump. You show up at a playground, you show up on a pitch. Well, how many players are here? All right, we're gonna pick. And it's not, I'm playing with my boy. No, it was like two captains, and you pick one after the other, right? This is what competition's all about. And when you are picking your squad, when you're picking your team, there's a point where maybe obviously your first pick was the best player. Obviously, the next person is going to pick the next best player, and then they pick the next player. But sometimes, you'd get down to the last few players, and like you're going to try to pick the least of the worst players, right? This is what sport is in the grand scheme of things. We're all picking from the same group of players. We're all trying to compete. No one's forming the perfect team. I'm hearing too many of my fan base, Manchester City fan base, complaining about not having a complete team from top to bottom. Like, understand that the board have been trying to put together the best possible team. They've been doing it since they've gotten here. They've been doing it even before the first Prem was won. And I'm seeing so much lack of patience and understanding in terms of recognizing like Tiki and the rest are trying. They're trying to improve on what's happening here. But some of these losses, some of these poor forms that we've had is not just because of us being poor. It's also because of the quality on the other side of the pitch. Us fans forgetting what it meant to compete has actually been very disgusting to me. And it's been a reason why I kind of had to like take a step back. And then I was like, I can't take a step back because if I'm not sharing my experience, my wisdom, like who's going to learn from it? Who's going to know from it? Can't let the can't let the youngsters keep talking amongst each other or the least experienced ones with regards to football still talk amongst themselves. So I wanted to chime in. Shout out to my man Ivory in the building. He goes, "Big up V, big up Blues. Good looking out. Thank you so much." I think we need to understand that because we're in a competitive sport, because it's a competitive business, us falling short isn't because of lack of effort, isn't because of um isn't because of resting on past successes. It's maybe the same approach with regards to determining quality, quality players. Maybe it's also trying to figure out what makes the most sense with regards to the business as well as value of contracts, salaries, all of that nature. W- We're competing against so many other clubs and look at the competition level of the Prem. Let's look at the let me pull up the standings real quick. Let's talk about this. Fan bases are getting all upset. Fan bases are looking the names of the clubs and being like, we should be higher, we should be here. Like currently, the top 6 clubs in the standings happen to be City 6. Same number of points, mind you, as Aston Villa, 1 point higher than Bournemouth. But we got Chelsea at 5th, Newcastle at 4th, Forest at 3rd, Arsenal at 2nd, Liverpool at 1st. These are all clubs. These are all clubs striving to try and win. And they may have spells where they don't show the same consistency in terms of how much they're winning or them being in the mix. And then when you have a city that are slightly out of that, can we recognize that we have 7, 8, well, we have 20, but really in the mix of things, we have 5, 6, 7 clubs that are really about it. And let's enjoy knowing that our club, our board, our players are trying to be the best. No one competes just for the sake of I just want to be in the mix. I'm just happy to be here. I had to like look at how Manchester City fans were talking about the club, talking about the players, talking about the want to actually get back to number 1. And guess what? The amount of criticism, the amount of like the the amount or how loud the voices were to say that our club aren't serious, to say that our club aren't about winning, to say that our club have rested on their laurels, to then look at what's happening today. It's so funny because obviously I had predetermined that I was going to do a show today before even any of the Holland news came through. But the Holland news is that not a reminder? Is that a not clear reminder slap in the face to you Manchester City fans that were saying that the club the club are moving in terrible fashion. The club are moving like they're satisfied. The club are moving like they don't care about winning anymore. Holland is about to be at the club for 10 years. He's signing a contract extension that's going to have him here for 10 years. I say it all the time. Like the club's working on so multiple things at the same time. They're working on trying to get the DM because we all recognize that we don't have a DM with Roger here. They're working on trying to improve the defense, which we're clearly seeing with some of the youngsters that are coming through. They're also still constantly working to retain the talent that they want to keep here. With, for example, what's the right amount of time to have KDB here? What do we want to do with the likes of a Savino or a Doku? Or Gavardio, what do we want to do with regards to a Foden? What do we want to do with Holland? All those things happening simultaneously. We're competing, guys. I got clowned. I got joked joked on when I talked about the financial news that got released by the club, right? Record revenue 2 years in a row, best club. I talked about all those things to remind the fan base that we're doing the right things off the pitch to help us do the right things on the pitch, and to also realize that if we happen to falter, if we happen to like stumble, if we happen to not be one of the top clubs with regards to competing, I should have done the show with some water. That it's not going to remain that way very long. It's not going to be the case for very long because of how competitive the club is being off the pitch as well. Now look at today's news. Today's news shocked me. I was not expecting it. There were no real rumors. I mean, yes, there were talks about Holland and his contract extension, Holland taking out release clauses and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to speak to it before we close out. I'm going to speak to this whole Holland and him wanting to compete. Him clearly showing that he wants to be part of Manchester City. He wants to compete for the biggest and best seasons and trophies. But a contract extension, to then having a contract extension extended for that'll have him here for 2 years, mind blowing. Tiki, everybody on that board, congrats. Congrats. You've done it. Excellent business. The best, and I'm not lying here. I'm not exaggerating. The best striker in the world today. Yeah, you want to talk about Isak? Hey, Isak's in great form. You want to talk about mans that delivered, man that's shown to be prolific everywhere he's been. He is now going to be here for 150 months. That's hilarious, by the way. But when we have signings like that, look at what it means. Look at what the big picture means. The big picture means if you have a player of that caliber saying, I want to be at Manchester City for 10 more years, what's the ripple effect? What's the ripple effect? What does that mean to a Pep that signed a 2-year contract extension to remain here for 10 years? What does that mean to a club that's got looming gray clouds over its head with regards to 115 or 130, whatever you want to call it? What does that mean to also other players wanting to play with the likes of a Holland, right? A player, maybe a very creative player, a player that thinks more about passing, thinks more about assists. What does that mean for that creative player to be like, oh, he's committed there for that long? Oh, that's where I want to be. The ripple effect to this Holland contract extension, I'm going to be talking about that for days. I'm going to be talking that for a while now. I haven't even fully gathered all my thoughts, but I love how we've shown that we want to keep the best talent. And I'm also going to speak on this really quickly. The fact that Holland signed this contract is also, I think, an indicator to other clubs to recognize if you think you're in competition with Real Madrid. Hey, I've spoken to United fans. They don't think they're in competition with Real Madrid. I've spoken to Liverpool fans. They don't think they're in competition with Real Madrid. Mind you, I don't know how they think that when in terms of Liverpool, they're going to lose their best talent to going over to Real Madrid. PSG losing their best talent. Other clubs have lost their best talent to go over to Real Madrid. If you don't want to lose your best talent, these are probably the contracts that you need to properly determine. You got to properly determine if you got talent like this. Hey, Holland's on the right side of this age, right? He's on the right side of this age to say, listen, we want you to lock you in long term. But if you're going to try to combat the clubs like a Real that are like, oh, just play out the last year your contract. Yeah, don't extend. Let that run out, because when it runs out, I'll give you a lot extra on the signing bonus. I'll give you a lot extra with regards to agent fees. You get to pocket a lot of that. No transfer costs. This is how you combat that. I think we're gonna see a lot more clubs do this for the right talent. The right talent, because Real Madrid have gotten away with going after an Alphonso Davies, going after with an Mbappe, right? They're going after some very quality talent. Look, they're trying to do the same thing with Trent Alexander. I like the business that we're doing. I like how the club is showing that they are going to compete at all levels, off the pitch, and on the pitch. And I want our fan base. Come on, let's remember that we're not competing. We're not competing in isolation. We're not competing against an AI. This isn't the computer, right? We're not playing against the computer in FIFA. We're playing against other clubs, other players that are trying to make their mark. Look at this last game versus Brentford. These players were on fire against us, trying to make a name for themselves. Some of them are trying to play for their contract extension. Some of them are trying to play for their move onto what may be, no disrespect to Brentford, but what may be the next club for them. Fans, let's not forget, this is a competition. And we can take hits. You've played sports, guys and girls. You've played sports before. You've had to pick. You've been captain before. You've been the last pick before. You realize that sometimes it's not your day, but you compete to be better the next game, next recess, right? Morning recess. Oh, you took a loss. Afternoon recess, you want to go out and win. Next game, next week, next day, you want to go and play. Let's not forget that we can have a down game. We can have a down season and still go on to compete, to be the. You're never going to hear me say, never. You're never going to hear me say that it is a disgrace if my club finishes wherever. Let me know what the circumstances are. Let me know, which players were competing or weren't, which players were healthy or injured, which players, for whatever reason, decided not to play for the club. Let's be real. Listen, things are never perfect in terms of winning. Never. And if you're the type of fan that you need the best 11 to be able to win something, then you're going to be disappointed. You're not going to have much joy in some of the games that you go in when you're maybe not as good as the other team. Don't quite have the best players per position. Look at what Pep did in our treble season, guys. In our treble season, he let an extremely talented João Cancelo ride bench and get transferred. Of course, we're better with a Cancelo. We're better with that skill set in terms of player. Of course, we compete much better to have that player in rotation, that availability. But it was like, nah, it does not work with the group. You're out. Did it hinder us? Of course. That's sport though. Sometimes you got to do things where you're not quite your best. Sometimes you got to play in a Champions League match versus Real Madrid and you don't have a Walker and you got to play a Fernandinho. Don't quite get the outcome. Could we have possibly? But that's what competition's all about. I need us to embrace that more. I need us to kind of overcome the odds sometimes with regards to how we look at games. I'd like us to have a little more faith in a player like a Rico Lewis, or a player in terms of Pusey, or even a player like a Doku or McAtee. Like, listen, they're not perfect. You can get a spell out of them. They can learn on the job. We can get the result and move. We can improve. Like, let's get back to the roots of competition. My fan base, my Manchester City fan base, please go back to when you were selecting teams on the playground. Go back when you were a captain. Go back to when you were the last one picked. And you were the last one picked, and you still won that game. You still had an impact. Let's compete again. I love what my club's doing. We're going to talk about the defensive signings. We're going to talk about the attacking signings. We're going to talk about the contract extensions that are happening. We're going to deal with all of that on CIA. I'm so excited to talk that over with the other Manchester City Blues that hopefully will be able to join. And then obviously stay tuned to catch me on a few other feature shows. I'm not sure which one I want to tackle next over here. I think the one, if I talk about why fans of today are always crying, that's going to be triggering. I think that might upset a lot of people. I think that might upset a lot of people. I might have to chill on that one. I might have to do that with a few guests, so then it's not just me. Um, do we talk? I'm not going to talk about Mo for a bit. Ooh, why Pep's first 8 years is greater than Sir Alex? That's not even questionable. That's understood. Everybody, you know what? We'll have that combo. We'll have that combo. Arteta. Ooh, you know what? A lot of people got to be quiet about Arteta right now. Second in the league, doing things without Saka. Yeah, we'll get into that. Liverpool fans hate when I talk about the efficiency of FSG. Excellent. Well, interesting business model. Very interesting business model and showing success. I'll you know what, in the chat, let me know, because do you want to I'm gonna have to do a thank you Spurs. I'm gonna have to do a thank you Spurs for Kyle Walker. Obviously, the news is out. He's going to be looking to transfer out. I'm obviously going to thank him for his services. Oh man, I'm going to thank him for his services on the pitch. Obviously, a lot of questions with what he was doing off the pitch, but I'm going to thank him for his services on the pitch. I'm going to thank Spurs for giving us Kyle Walker and for what he's done, for what he's meant, for the example that he was in terms of a right back. We're gonna have to do that. That's a future show. We should. I got to devote at least 15 minutes to talk about why Kyle Walker was the best right back. Yeah, for almost a decade. We're gonna have to speak on that. Also, we got a must-win versus Ipswich. I'm gonna have to do a preview at some point. You know what? Look out for a lot of content on Saturday. Look out for a lot of content from me on Saturday. Please subscribe. Hit that like button with regards to this video. Let me know in the comments if you're watching this post live. And I have to say this. Manchester City have been labeled the best club in the world for a reason. Fans, Manchester City fans, show some backbone, show some strength. Don't crumble so quickly when times are tough and thinking that the club's done. All right. If we happen not to win anything this year, if the best thing that we're able to do is get a top four, like Arsene Wenger used to, promote about the importance of top four. If that's all we're able to do, let's take it for what it is and let's build and move on for next season, the 2025-2026 season. All right. Let's do that. Now, if you haven't, hit that like button. If you haven't been a part of the show, be in the comments. Also, please do this. Please do this. Check out my next video. I should look to how to forward or how to redirect, but my next video is going to be coming out just before 8 o'clock today, 8 o'clock UK time. So please go hit that like button, be a part of the comments. CIA, I'm going to have other Blues with me. We're going to talk in depth. We're going to talk in depth about what's recently happened with Ernesto Haaland and the transfers. Amazing. And actually, let me see if I can put that on screen for you. CIA, where is that? What did I do for CIA? Oh, actually, I don't have that on screen. Oh, wait, can I? Maybe I can. 1 sec. Yeah. Join me on CIA because this is what we're going to discuss. Why? This is the importance at Manchester City. This is the importance of what I would love for my fan base to kind of understand and accept with regards to how they look at the club, how they look at the board, how they look at the manager, how they look at players, okay? And you should actually apply this within your own life. Have a culture, whether it's in your personal life, business life, sports life. It's okay to make mistakes. It should always be okay to make mistakes. No one's perfect. And at the same time, I want it to be unacceptable not to learn from them. You're okay to make mistakes, but it's unacceptable not to learn from them. We're going to discuss that over on CIA as it continues, as we continue to talk about the transfer windows, the players that are kind of falling off, the players that are kind of looking to improve and develop and grow their careers. We're going to discuss all of that. All right. Now, good looking out, my people. Thank you so very much for being in the mix. You're catching me actually as I'm winding things down, but I got CIA, which we will be discussing this. And this environment is so key. Apply it to your sports life, apply it to your business life, apply it to your personal life. Let me see DC in the building. DC, my girl goes, Fox, I agree. Why people doubted and questioned Tiki is a madness to me. Look what look what they gave us the past several years. It's almost, it would be perfect. Can we ask for anything more? Look at the players that have come in, look at the level of competition to come in, look at how close we were to actually win so much, and look at what we actually won. Absolutely amazing. The girl RK in the building, she goes, good to see you again, mon frère. Merci beaucoup. The girl RK in the building, DC, thank you so very much. We will be back with another show, CIA with the crew. I hope you enjoyed this one. I'm going to be signing off, and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next show. And actually, you can hit the like button, be a part of the next show as it comes through. Enjoy this outro, and we will be back. I'm Vader Games. Love to each and every one of you. Hopefully you're having an amazing start to 2025. And if you're not, it will improve. Keep at it.